Well, I'm delighted to be joined here today by Shola and Janice, who are two of this year's Oxygen Influencers. Welcome, Shola and Janice.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
It's
having
lovely to be
us.
here.
Yeah, well, you were two of several ESG pros that were in Oxygen Influencers put forward by your peers. So let's just start with that. In your day-to-day job as ESG leads, what does it entail? Can you give us an example of what you would do on a day-to-day basis? Janice, maybe if we start with you.
We were only just talking about this. It's so varied, and it depends on what company you're in. So it varies from company to company, but ultimately it's E, S, and G: environment, social, and governance. So the E side, a lot of carbon counting, spreadsheets, net zero. Some of the net zero plans can be quite exciting. And then the S stuff is where my heart is, and it's the social stuff. So you've got the staff well-being as well as all the outreach projects and how you affect your community. And that can be beautiful, very beautiful. And then the governance is just making sure we get it done, which I think is becoming more and more important as we make commitments, real commitments to the government and also to our clients.
Well said. And Shola, and Janice mentioned outreach there, the social side, and you've done a lot of community schools outreach. So what would be a kind of typical project that you might have been involved in?
So with the schools, and a lot of it stemmed from Janice when we worked together. So it's really great that my company saw the value in what we are doing and want to continue that. So we tend to focus on schools, local schools from less advantaged areas. So at the moment, we support two schools called St. Joseph's Primary School and Art Globe Academy. We've been supporting them for many years, and we both have great relationships with the schools and with the teachers as well. So we run tech workshops, we run them in-house in our offices, and we also run Raising Aspiration workshops as well, which Jan and I recently collaborated on, and we run those at the school. So yeah, we run the workshops. Aside from the workshops, we also support St. Joseph's School further by sponsoring their football kits. And I've been to the school on many occasions where the kids are wearing their hoodies throughout the day. So I know just how much the kits mean to them and to the school. We also help to subsidise their residential trips by paying for their coach costs as well. So it's nice that we can help to kind of lower the costs for families as well, to enable them to send their children on these school trips. So yeah, education is a big side of the outreach work that we do. We also have a charity of the year as well. So we kind of raise awareness and we fundraise all year round for our charities. At the moment, we're supporting Dementia UK. So we're really proud to be supporting them. We've raised over £10,000 for them. And we do so much. We have a Women in Business network as well. They are supporting a charity called SmartWorks, and SmartWorks support women looking to get back into employment. And then on a personal side, I'm also a yoga teacher. So I teach yoga for a charity called Change, Grow, Live. And they are a charity, and they are a drug and alcohol recovery clinic. So I teach classes to the service users there as well.
Excellent, excellent. And you're both ESG leads I should point out, for NTT Data and for Telefonica Tech, who are, two fairly large partners. And not every partner will have an ESG lead, particularly the smaller ones. If it's an MSP with 10 or 20 staff, they're not going to have an ESG lead. But you said in the report, Janice, that it's no longer a nice to have having an ESG person in the organisation. Why do you think that now?
Just before I answer the question, I wanted to just come back and say you're right that maybe because I started out doing this when there was about 50 people in the organisation, but there will be people doing the job. It just won't be a specific person that's leading it because it's because you have to. So the reasons why you have to. So if you're going after big contracts, the government contracts, 10 to 20% now of your score will be based on what you're going to do for social value, and in that case, you also have to make those commitments. So they have the Procurement Act has changed this year, so you have to be able to prove to the client what you have said you're going to be able to do, and you have to be really clear on how you're going to reach those KPIs. So that's a whole process in place that needs to happen. And the KPIs will have proxy values. So, for example, you could say you're going to employ 3 people with barriers to employment, and that's going to bring X amount of proxy value to the local community, and you're going to do it local to the client, and you're going to do it within a 3-year period of the contract. And they're going to check up on that. So that's why it's so important. But I know that Shola and I were talking about this before. There are regulations, a plethora of regulations now, which are complicated. And then once you're on your carbon reduction plan journey, your net zero journey, which again you have to have for some clients, then that's a lot of work as well, and you have to publish it all as well. So.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And Shola, are you seeing the same thing? Actually, some of the stuff they were talking about a couple of years ago, the social value, the 10 or 20%, now it has more teeth behind it. Is that fair to say, do you think?
Yeah, I think if you don't have a robust ESG presence, you can open yourself up to potential fines, lawsuits, and other regulatory issues. I've seen a huge increase of ESG questionnaires coming my way, and not just from tenders, but also from existing customers and partners. I've seen an increase in government mandatory reporting, and I feel it's only going to increase over time. And I think companies want to know what you're doing more than ever in this space. And I think it's really key to be transparent in what you're doing.
But can I just say as well, I sit on a board advisory panel for a charity called Heart of the City, and there are plenty of charities around that do this as well. Heart of the City will give free advice and free training to smaller businesses on how to approach net zero and how to approach your whole responsible business program. And I genuinely mean it. If there's a small business out there that would like some advice, I'm really happy to spend some time with them. Like, it is such a collaborative area to work in, and it's one of the nicest things to be able to do, is to be able to help smaller companies.
Yeah, and there's also business improvement districts as well. So you can look up your local one. We worked closely with Team London Bridge, and they've helped us massively with our program in the past as well. So I think if you don't have a lot of resources in-house, you can reach out to your local bid as well, and they could help you.
No, definitely. Great advice. And so I think it's fair to say the political climate in the US has shifted a bit over the last couple of months. Does that have any bearing on you as ESG professionals in the UK, working for IT services companies?
I just want to say that, like, for me personally, obviously, it's just terribly sad. It's really sad watching this, but there's so many horrible things going on in the world at the moment, and it is, that particular space is pretty scary. I am really happy that the companies that we're working closely with haven't gone down that route yet, but there is a lot of pressure on people in America. But it's always like that as well. It's pendulous and tidal progress. Like, it seems to come and go like that, and so we just have to keep going and know that what we're doing is really important, and it does make it feel like it is even more important now to stick to your guns.
And what about you, Shola? Has it changed the way you think about your role at all?
I think I agree with Janice, and I find it mind-boggling. And it would be interesting to see how it pans out for those companies that have rolled back. For me personally, it makes me want to shout louder. It gives me more fuel to move forward. It makes me want to, keep educating, keep raising awareness for these important topics. Yeah, and just highlighting how important it is. I think diversity, equity, and inclusion is, really important, not just in the workplace, but for everyday life. We are all individuals. We should all be able to be our authentic selves. And in the workplace, we should be enhancing that environment for everyone to be themselves as well. So yeah, I think it's really important, and I'm just going to keep striving, keep, highlighting these important topics.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, Janice, you did touch on this in an earlier answer, but can you measure the commercial benefits of ESG or social impact? And if so, how do you do it?
Yeah, like there are proxy values that are issued by, I think it's like the Treasury, that have a green book, and so there are proxy values, and also the net zero has become more and more financial. That they're expecting it to have their your carbon accounting to be so similar to financial accounting now. So they are trying to make it measurable, but we were talking about this before. It's just so hard to. I mean, when you're standing in a room and the kids that you're working with, like, are sitting out looking out a window, totally unengaged, and by the end, you see them fist pumping one of your colleagues that they bonded with and that they've talked about careers with. Like that, I don't know how anyone can measure that. Like, or when you're in a room and it's socially isolated elderly people and you hear somebody walk by and they say they haven't spoken to anyone for the last 6 months. Like, it's, you can't, those things, how can you capture them? So I think, yes, we have to report on it, which is great. So it's great that there's something out there, but whether we can actually really capture what difference we make, I'm not sure.
Yeah, definitely. Shola, do you have a view on that?
I think you can. I think it can help you win business. I think it can help you stand out from the crowd. And I think it can help you attract and retain employees. I know that when my company went from investment to acquisition, one of the many things that they liked about the company was our ESG program and our commitment and our passion for the program. So I'm not saying it was a deal breaker, but I think it certainly helped. I know for Jan and I that we're not in ESG for the commercial benefit side. We do it because we genuinely care. We want to make a difference to society and to the planet in which we all live in. So, yeah, I think you can, but I think if you have the right people driving the program in your company, then the commercial benefits will naturally follow. So for me, I feel like it's the icing on the cake.
Yeah, and as two Oxygen influencers sat here before me, it'd be great to know more about what you got planned for the next 12 months. Janice.
Well, lots of net zero actions, some of which I'm quite excited about. That's lovely, making a difference there. And then, there's so many things but I want to focus on social mobility and being able to employ people with barriers to employment and trying to set up that process. But also really enjoying what we're doing with our employee resource groups. And at the moment, I'm walking a Camino, or virtually walking. Well, when I say I'm doing that, I mean, there's a whole team of us doing it, and I've only walked 4 kilometers. But I mean, we've done the Camino in a week, but we're going to do that until April.
Wow.
For me, it's looking at our carbon emissions for this year, looking at our baseline figures for this financial year, getting quality data together so our numbers can be as accurate as they can be, getting a carbon reduction plan put in place. And also with our education workshops, we'd love to extend those to our other locations. So we've got an office in Coventry and in Glasgow. We're also tweaking our programs as well, just to make sure that we are continuing to run good quality workshops that, align with the school curriculum as well, and taking on any feedback from previous students that have taken part in our workshops. And as I mentioned, we have our chosen charity of the year as well. So come 1st of April, we will go again with our fundraising efforts to raise money and awareness for that charity.
Great. And what advice would you have for partners that are maybe just starting their ESG journeys? Janice, maybe if we start with you.
Oh, I love this question because I'm actually sit on a board advisory panel for a charity called Heart of the City that do free advice for people that are just starting their net zero journey. And so my first thing I would say is get senior leadership buy-in, because it needs to come from the top. And once you've found that person in the senior leadership that's going to push this through, then you need to find champions around your organization that are really, really want to make a difference. And you will find them. There'll be people there that are already making a difference in their own personal lives, and they'd love to lead this for you.
No, great. Shola?
So for me, I would say do your research and have data behind you to back up what you want to do. And also to network. As I mentioned before, look up your business improvement district in your area. They can really help you and support you as well. So yeah, just network and have a good support network around you.
So, and one final question, I can't let you go without asking. So, the walk-on songs, we asked all the influencers what they'd have as their walk-on song. And just to recap on your choices. So, Janice.
The minute you walked in the joint.
Oh, a bit of classic Shirley Bassey there. And Shola, I believe it was All Night Long by Lionel Richie.
Yeah, it's just a
Who's
great
got the better
song.
walk-on song?
Oh,
That's the
definitely
question.
me. It's got so much, soul and everything to my song. And for me, it's got great memories. I remember dancing with my dad when I was younger, and I have a great relationship with my dad. So I just have really fond memories. But when I hear it, I just want to get up and dance as well. So it's tugs on the heart, but it's just a good song to get up and dance.
You can't
to
really
as
compare
well.
the two, the big band versus, pop soul.
Yeah.
Shola wins, I think.
Shola wins, well,
Thank
perhaps. But no, what a great note to end it on. So thank you to the two of you for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank you so
much.
much.